Hey, this is Tyreen Martinson with The Truth About Storytelling, and I just want to give a quick update today. I am reading, I'm writing. I get to do an open mic night tonight with Creative Colloquy. Thank you, Creative Colloquy. And you may wonder why I'm wearing my little fuzzy hat and doing this in the car. It's because I almost forgot to do my video today, and the fuzzy hat is a gift, or it's something I got from Patricia Josephine, who's a speculative fiction author who lives in Michigan, where it's super cold all the time in the winter. Here it's just usually damp, and sometimes we get snow, but I live near the Puget Sound, which means that 50-degree water kind of keeps the land temperature sort of warm, and so we usually don't get snow for very long. And if we do, then we might get it for a few days or maybe even a week, but usually not any longer than that. We usually have kind of temperate, foggy, damp, rainy weather all winter, but today it's blue sky and it's cold. So I have good reason to wear this wonderful hat that Patricia made. So thank you, Patricia Josephine, for knitting awesome hats and writing great speculative fiction books. So if you don't know Patricia, please check out her work. And anyway, the other thing I want to talk about really quickly today is that your words matter. And I mean everybody's words matter. Your words matter when you talk to yourself. Your words matter when you're talking to other people. Your words matter when we talk about the world. And I know it's hard to remember, and I'm not trying to have to speak nice all the time kind of rule thing. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying your words matter. And today's a good day to remember that, because today is Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Many, many, many years ago, when I was a little kid, and I was at my grandma's house with my older cousins, Darren, Laura, and Julie, and my cousin Julie started crying at the Martin Luther King Jr. thing they had on TV, and I asked her why, and she said, well, if it hadn't been for men like him, I wouldn't have been able to go to school. And I was like, what? How does that make any sense? Why wouldn't you have been able to go to school? And she said, well, because I'm black. And I was like, but that still doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you be able to go to school? Like, I didn't get it. I was 6, and that's that age where you're starting to see that the world around you maybe isn't as pretty or as nice as you would hope it would be. And anyway, I learned a little bit about civil rights that day from my cousin Julie, and I learned a little bit about Martin Luther King Jr. and just the amazing work that he did and other civil rights leaders did. And it's really thanks to Julie's words and the way she talked about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. that I came to understand what a great man he was. And I started to study his work as I got older, and especially in junior high and high school and in college. So I think it's good to remember who he really was, how eloquently he spoke, and the fact that he just kept on speaking. Like, he didn't let anyone shut him up. He kept right on speaking, and he kept on speaking life and hope and forgiveness into a difficult and painful situation with civil rights. And, thanks to him, things did change. And thanks to other leaders like him, things changed. It's hard to keep our eyes fixed on hope and on peace and on how to have civil discourse. But I think it's important. I think iron sharpens iron, but it's best if we sharpen that iron in civil discourse, in talking through things. And maybe most of us, like me, I'm not as eloquent as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but we can still think about the words that we use when we talk to each other, when we talk to the people around us, and when we even when we talk to ourselves in our head. Meanwhile, as I'm videotaping this, a elk just stepped, not an elk, what am I saying? A male deer, a buck, just stepped out into my driveway. It is wild. I just pulled into my driveway from running errands, and there he is walking down my driveway. We get all sorts of wildlife here. I'm going to see if I can turn this. Anyway, I don't know if you could see him or not, but he's like just chilling out down there in the driveway. He's just gonna walk down the driveway in front of me. Anyway, we live down a long driveway and we get all sorts of wild creatures here. So anyway, thanks for hanging out, and I hope that you have a wonderful day writing, reading, and speaking words that matter. Thanks.